Yeah, Juan. Guess who's giving black women dating advice and guess who's mad? But before we get to the video, like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and let's get to it. So, brothers, I was seeing this all up and down the timeline, and I, right off, as soon as I saw the face, I knew exactly what was probably being said, but, to confirm it, based on some of the uh, quote tweets that I saw, I figured what was going on here. So let me play this. Unfortunately, I have to play this again. If I had to see it, you brothers had to see it also.
To be honest, this whole conversation of submission has always been weird to me, especially within the black community. Y'all don't want submission, y'all want slaves. Y'all are asking women to submit. Submit to what? Why is there this need for women to relinquish their agency in order to make space for your ego? I just think overall, men, especially black men, have a skewed idea of what it is to be dominant or a leader. Ironically, these conversations frequently play out in pro-black spaces, but I don't think y'all realize how white supremacist that rhetoric is. I've said it before, but I feel like specifically in these conversations, black men simply seek to wield power in the same ways white men do. Ask black men what submission entails for them, and they'll tell you it's the handing over of the reins. You cook, you clean, you're relegated to house duties, you do what I say, no talk back. That's a slave. Does this power imbalance displayed in your overt misogynoir not directly reflect the power imbalance that we as black folk have to navigate being in a white supremacist society? Y'all are just scaling down slave labor dynamics into your own interpersonal relationships. Fix it. Stop asking black women to be of service to your senselessness.
Okay, there's so much wrong with that. He used all of the buzzwords, the misogynoir, your ego. Made sure he said black men. He tried to include white men, but we know he's not going there with this message. And he had over 220,000 likes on TikTok alone. Not sure exactly how many he had on Twitter. I just saw it from the retweets on the timeline that people were correcting this guy and going in on this guy, but there's so much wrong with what he said there. I mean, first, why do you care? Why do you care about heterosexual relationships between black men and black women? I mean, that's the first point because obviously this brother lives an alternative lifestyle, and I say brother just from the fact that uh, he's black, but I mean, obviously, there's no camaraderie between us. There's nothing other than skin color and maybe gender, which he might not even identify with the gender that he clearly is. You know, there's they feel like they're their own separate group, and there's a lot of black women who feel the same way that they are their own, uh, special group, their own specific group, apart from heterosexual black men specifically, black men in general, and heterosexual black women as well. But they feel that they're their own separate group. So I mean, I have a question. I mean, who is he going to get into a relationship with, a romantic relationship with? It's going to be black men or white men. I mean, you could throw out Asian or what have you. Hispanics often identify as white. So, he talked about the white supremacy, which he does clearly doesn't understand, because if he did, he would understand the sexual aspect of white supremacy. But clearly he doesn't understand that. So he's just throwing around words here. But any black woman that I mean, brothers, if you live that type of lifestyle, stay away from people like this. I mean, stay very far away. If they're spewing this type of nonsense about black men, a group that he's actually a part of, it's no telling what that type of mentality will do to you to harm you in some type of relationship. I don't agree with the lifestyle. It's haram, and but each person is going to do whatever they're going to do. Um, you know, I obviously have no problem with it unless you're doing it with children. If it's two consenting adults, you'll have to live with whatever your actions are, just like I'm gonna have to live with mine. So that's on you to do what have you. But brothers, if you live that type of lifestyle, stay away from people like this. And if you see women who agree with this type of rhetoric that says this stuff, use the misogynoir, your ego, and it's slavery to want to give up some, all this stuff about submission, and stay very far away from them. Instant block if you see it on social media. Every day we see someone, some black women who claim to be pro black and so forth, and they'll get a viral tweet talking about black men, or and then you look at their tweet history, and then it's all this um, you know lusting after white men and so forth. you know just stay away from these type of people. They have no um, interest in our group bettering itself. They are out for whatever they can get. Um, it's very selfish. There's some of the things that they're doing. They're looking for how much power they can grab, and who they can beat down. And since our group of heterosexual black men are the lowest ones on the liberal totem pole, and I say liberal because the majority of our people lean that way, even if it's not good for them, right? Even if it's not good for women to promote transgenders in sports, in women's sports, they do it anyway, right? It's not good for women. It's terrible for women's sports, and um, you know, so they're not interested in bettering the group. They're interested in how much power they can grab for themselves. But stay very far away from these type of people. I can't look at the video again. It's just nauseating. And brothers, final thoughts. You know, we are in a war on all fronts. It's time for every brother to pick up, his metaphorical sword. If it's speaking out on social media, if it's organizing in the community, if it's building something to help our young men to not be influenced by these type of people. We have to do that, brothers. We have to work together to as a common goal to fight back from those within our group who are traitorous, and then of course those on the outside who wish to harm our group even further. With that being said, masalam ikhwan.